Hey guys, this is Travis with the Bipolar blog. Today we are going to talk about Risperdal. Risperdal is maybe a second generation antipsychotic. It is actually the precursor to Invega, which we already talked about. However, the reason why I want to talk about this one is because it's one of the 3 drugs I tried first, and I ended up going back on it for a year until I could no longer tolerate the akathisia, which is inner restlessness, and it got so bad that I wanted to commit suicide. So once again, what are antipsychotics? Antipsychotics are used for people with maybe mood disorders like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. The side effects can be very detrimental, but it can help reduce suicidal ideations, more stability with the mood, etc. Anyways, let's talk about Risperdal. So I remember those incidents. The worst was akathisia, where I was at school and the inner restlessness got so bad that I couldn't find my way home because I got distracted by the restlessness I was feeling, that I just wanted to die and things like that. It's kind of like you're stuck in a little box and you can't move, but you want to move and just get out of it. It's a really uncomfortable feeling. I remember another time where I ended up running to a tree in the middle of the field because I wanted to hang myself, and my parents ended up chasing after me. So it was pretty bad. And the irony is my second hospitalization was actually due to the fact that I wanted to commit suicide because of the akathisia from Risperdal. Now, ironically, I also tried Invega, which we already talked about, but that also caused akathisia, and it was no longer any better. I just want you guys to know, as I stated before, I am on Latuda, and although I might experience some restlessness, it's nowhere near bad as Risperdal. Risperdal, I believe, can help. I did gain some weight on it, and that's probably a given when it comes to antipsychotics, is that you will gain some weight. I do remember, however, that I was always complaining about the akathisia. It wasn't just one instant. It was like a growing pain that I just could no longer tolerate. It was getting worse and worse. And I believe that went up on a higher dose, and that just made things worse and worse. I believe that when I first took Risperdal, it also made me drowsy, but at the same time, I felt kind of like a zombie when I felt out of it. But most of the other antipsychotics also made me feel like drowsy and out of it. So that's nothing new when it comes to the antipsychotic world. Now, my brother has tried Invega, which, like I said, is a generation after Risperdal, but he also had some negative effects with Invega, and I'm pretty sure if he ever tried Risperdal, he'd also have some bad effects from it. I just want you guys to know that meds can definitely help, antipsychotics can definitely help, but it's more of a last resort option. I try antidepressants, anxiolytics, which is anti-anxiety medications, not like benzodiazepines, but actual anti-anxiety medication like Buspar, etc., and or maybe some over-the-counter medications for sleep if you're struggling. But if you have a severe mood disorder like schizophrenia or major depression or a bipolar disorder and you're running out of options, then you might want to give antipsychotics a shot. I think for the most part, Risperdal is one of my least favorite drugs that I've been on because I was on it so long, and it was making me feel worse, and was the only drug that hospitalized me because of the side effects. And it got so bad that I was having post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was blaming the psychiatrist who put me on it, the resident, for, I felt like she forced me to go on it, and she didn't occur to me that I didn't have to keep taking the med, but she never mentioned that, and I felt really threatened for the fact that I wanted to end my life because of the side effects from akathisia.
So that med was the worst of them all that you ever took?
Yeah, it's the only drug that caused me to be hospitalized.
So that's probably the one that you least recommend of all antidepressants, all antipsychotics?
Yeah, it's the least recommended one of antipsychotics because I was on it so long and I knew how terrible the side effect akathisia was.
Do you know anyone else on that?
That's the thing. I do know that some people take it, but I can't remember who. But it's not as common as Seroquel. Seroquel seems to be more common, and Abilify seems more common. But give and take, guys, everyone's an individual, and everybody's respond differently. But for me, I did not respond well to Risperdal.
Describe the specific side effects. Like, what happens when you took it immediately? You felt tired?
Well, the thing is, I believe when I was taking the drug, when I first started it, it would cause a lot of akathisia, but after it wore off, I'd feel less akathisia, but I don't know, it was affecting and impairing my driving ability.
And you were on Invega,
so I was slowing down. No, that was just, I tried that later after I realized the Risperdal wasn't working. So the truth is, it might have been my third drug, my third antipsychotic I tried, but then I tried like 4 others, and then they decided to try Risperdal again, and then last of all I was on Seroquel, and then I stopped antipsychotics for a good 2 years. 4 years actually, until I started Latuda in 2014.
Why do you need to be on antipsychotics? Do you have paranoia?
I think the worst thing is that I have psychosis.
What's your psychosis entail though? You seem fine.
You really think 2014 was fine?
You're just mainly depressed. Well, describe it. Describe the...
I just couldn't eat. I couldn't cut my hair. I couldn't do any self-care. I could barely go to the bathroom. I would use the kitty litter because I wouldn't be able to walk. I was having trouble with lithium because I would shit on the floor.
What about that Jesus Christ thing?
Nah, that Jesus Christ thing was in 2012.
Oh, that's not...
I guess we could also talk about Atypical one other time, but I'm allergic to it.
That's not like... How about when can we talk about the gene test?
I guess we could talk about that next time, but this is about... I don't know, there's really not a lot I can mention about Risperdal. It was so long ago in 2010. I just don't think it's a really good drug to be on. For me, I feel like the more expensive drugs like Vraylar and Vraylar and Latuda are better suited for you if you can afford it, if your insurance can afford it. Now, some people do fare well in Abilify, some people do fare well in Seroquel. I know one guy that did okay on Geodon, but for me, all those drugs were just having horrible side effects and most likely to akathisia or increased suicidations and, of course, long-term weight gain. I don't know how much I gained, but I do know I gained some weight on the drug, and unfortunately,
I don't know, throughout most of your life, you actually were pretty dang skinny, especially 2014, though. Yeah. What the heck was that? Sure that's weight gain? You mainly just gained weight for the past, between 2016 to 13 or 19 for some reason. Why is that?
It's probably because the diet was just really, really horrible. And
so it's the diet, not the diet.
Well, really I've been on lithium in 2012 and up to 2012 to 2017. So
you attribute that to the weight? Well, it can't be because you were really skinny during that time, and you weren't working.
Yeah, but when you're...
because you just weren't eating.
Probably because I wasn't eating, so it's probably more related to diet. I'm beginning to think, but... Anyways, guys, Risperdal does increase hunger pains, which kind of sucks since most do. There's really not a lot I can talk about. I just want you guys to be aware that it was the second most longest antipsychotic I've been on. I've probably been on it a good year, from 2009 to 2010.
Oh, you're on a long time.
Until I could no longer tolerate the drug because of the akathisia. So, guys, do your research. I've been on 30 different medications. If you feel like 1 or 2 or even 20, 25 drugs don't work, just wait until you try 30. Maybe something will work. And there's a lot of people that are adamantly against drugs, regardless, or any medication, which, you know, over time you got to be conscious of what works and what doesn't work for you. And if you feel like you're really, really struggling over and over and cycling, then maybe medication is the only option. Or who knows? Maybe you can find some medicinal reasons with other things that are out there.
Is it mainly the antipsychotics that stop the suicide ideations, or is it the antidepressants or the anti-mood drugs, or what are we called? The mood stabilizers?
I was still having suicide ideations on Tuda. I was still having suicide ideations on Lithium.
Then what's stopping it?
I want to say it was the Zymbalta.
Is that antidepressant?
Yeah, it's an antidepressant. So guys, I just want you guys to know that it's not a drug I want to be on, but I don't know. It's cheap. It's cheaper than the other drugs, and it's older.
It's old, you guys. It's a lower technology, or it's an older technology kind of drug. So if you have a choice, you always try to want to do the newer drugs, in my opinion.
Yes, because
in Vega, I had issues like weight gain and like I started getting dystonia or whatever you call it, or what's that called with the mouth thing?
It is dystonia.
No,
Dystonic reaction.
So.
Yeah, catonia is like
no, it's not dystonia.
Yeah, it is. Involuntary movement.
I guess so. Well, anyway, I thought dystonia was when you black out, but anyway, it did help. I wanted to mention that even though I don't recommend Invega, it made me gain weight. It made me, at the same time, it slowed me down and it made me tired. But I would say I didn't have as bad as effects on Invega versus Risperidone.
You did try
Risperidone? No, I didn't. So that's what I'm saying. But But if they're like sister brother meds, everyone's different, so you never know. I think you should still try Invega over Risperidone if you really had that choice. Obviously, there's other antipsychotics, which Travis already mentioned in his other videos. What was that one you recommended?
Latuda or Rayla, which are the newest antipsychotics. Anyways, guys, do your own research. Give it a try if you really think it's the last option. But for me, it was a horrible drug for me, and I had a really bad experience on it. So imagine that, a drug that had such bad side effects, and you end up hospitalized a year later from being on it. And I remember there was this one video where I was saying, oh, it hurts so bad, and I was crying, and Kyle recorded it. I think he remembers that one. Do you?
Can't remember, but it makes me smile.
Yeah, so I was in a lot of misery because of the akathisia.
Miserable soul. Miserable, hurted soul.
And that was probably the worst akathisia I ever had, which was
so keep that in mind, you guys. This is probably a really important video because Risperidone probably is the worst drug that we're actually saying that affected us most.
So this is Travis and Kyle with Beyond Bipolar Blog. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button for future videos. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.